Listen, I don't want to sound crazy, but they're lying to us about Bryce Young. In a minute, we're going to look at why and what information is basically being hidden or buried. But first, we need some background so this all makes sense. Growing up, Bryce Young's parents saw his football potential early on. So they moved their family from Philadelphia to Pasadena, California, so Bryce could play high school football in one of the best areas to do it in the country. His freshman year, he played varsity football at Cathedral High School. And for his final 2 high school football seasons, he played at one of the best schools in the whole entire country, Mater Dei. The school has produced a ton of NFL players like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Trent Duffy, Matt Barkley, just to name a few. Playing at a high school football powerhouse means you're going to play the other top football schools in the whole entire country, like IMG Academy in Florida and St. John Bosco. So Bryce was playing the best of the best football players from a very young age. Bryce Young was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. He was the #1 ranked player in California, the #1 ranked quarterback in the nation, and oh yeah, the #1 ranked player in his whole entire class. That year, you could legitimately not find a better prospect than Bryce Young. And obviously, he went on to play for Alabama in college and played in the powerhouse division that is the SEC. There, he played Georgia multiple times, which had the best defense in college football. I mean, basically their whole entire defense just got drafted. I mean, that team had backups that are in the NFL. Despite not winning a national championship, Bryce Young put up great numbers throughout college and even won the Heisman. So why were there so many question marks about Bryce Young going first overall? And why are so many people concerned he's going to be a bust? It's because of the man's size. No one can deny it, Bryce Young is small. He looks small and he is small. And it's not just his height that's small, it's also his width. This sounds bad. He's not just small height-wise, he also doesn't have the biggest frame. He actually has a pretty small frame. But there's more than meets the eye when it comes to Bryce Young's build, and frankly, I don't know why we're not talking about it. At the combine, Bryce's height was measured as 5'10" and 1/8 of an inch. I think that's how you say that. He also weighed in at 204 pounds. For comparison, Kyler Murray measured in at the exact same height at his combine, and he only weighed 3 more pounds than Bryce at 207. So why is everyone saying, oh yeah, Kyler's short too, but Kyler has such a bigger frame than Bryce, he's so much bigger? He's only 3 more pounds and the exact same height. Kyler and Bryce, they're definitely different quarterbacks. Kyler scrambles way more than Bryce. He has more speed than Bryce, but that also means taking more hits. Bryce, he doesn't have as much speed as Kyler, which means, oh, maybe he's not able to get out of the pocket as fast, but he has an insanely quick release. That's how he protects himself. He gets the ball out fast, and he also has like eyes in the back of his head, so he can somehow sense when anyone is close to him, even if his eyes are facing the totally different direction. You might be saying, oh, well, Kyler's been injured. Well, 1, the ACL was a non-contact injury, and 2, the only other injury he missed 2 games for in the NFL was a strained hamstring that happened when he was scrambling out of the pocket on a run play and got tackled from behind. A bigger build, a bigger body doesn't always necessarily mean you're less likely to get injured. Look at Carson Wentz, 6'5", 237. That's the prototypical quarterback size. I mean, scouts were basically frothing at the mouth when they saw his size and his athleticism. But his career has been filled with injuries. It's really derailed his career, if we want to be honest. And let's look at the last quarterback Carolina drafted first overall, Cam Newton. I mean, Cam Newton is a totally different build than Bryce. I mean, the guys are 2 opposite sizes on the size spectrum. Cam Newton was super mobile, super aggressive, always took hits, then boom, injuries started to catch up to him, and it ended his career short, in my opinion. I feel like he could have played longer if he hadn't dealt with so many injuries. And I know there's a whole new regime in Carolina right now, from the ownership to the GM to the coach, but you can't tell me that's not in the back of their mind what happened with Cam Newton. They have to be thinking about that and being aware of that and doing everything they can to protect Bryce. So Eli Manning's 6'5" and 220. That's only 16 pounds heavier than Bryce, but over half a foot taller. And guess what? Eli never missed a start in his entire 16-year NFL career due to injury. He started 210 consecutive games. And I mean, to be honest, Eli always reminded me of a string bean. Like, he kind of resembles a string bean if you look at it. I know, it's like, it's kind of abstract. Like, you know, when people go, oh, what's your celebrity lookalike, or what's their celebrity lookalike? Eli's celebrity lookalike, that string bean from VeggieTales. You see that? They have a very similar build.
Also, quick sidebar about VeggieTales, because now this is on my mind. I just want to ask if anyone else feels this way. The tomato from VeggieTales, does he give anyone else a very bad vibe? Like, something dark. I'm being serious. Like, I've always thought this, and I'm just curious if anyone else has thought this now that we're speaking about VeggieTales, because I don't think I'll ever speak about VeggieTales again on this channel.
But I think Chris Mortensen nailed it on the head when he said Bryce Young is very pliable, as Tom Brady would say. He described him as pliable. And I think that's exactly what you gotta be. If you ever heard Tom Brady talk about his workout routine, you know in the second half of his career, he really wanted to focus on his pliability and not doing as much heavy lifting, but more band work and body weight stuff at higher reps. And doing all these exercises to keep his body so pliable allowed him to bend and not break when he took a hit. So I think the takeaway here is just to be Elastigirl. If you're a football player, be Elastigirl and you will not get injured. But speaking of injuries, let's look at Bryce's injury history. Bryce only missed one start in college due to a sprained AC joint. That's it. He's only missed one start, so I don't know how you can call a guy injury prone if he really hasn't been injured. Young has basically been playing with top talent his whole life. He's been at the highest ranks, playing at the highest level since high school. Now in the NFL, I don't think he's going to change his game. He's used to huge guys coming at him. I mean, he was playing high school varsity football in California as a freshman. He had to be so small in that instance. Like, come on, there was 18-year-olds that were basically grown men trying to tackle him. And like Bryce likes to say, he's been this size his whole life. He's been a smaller guy his whole life. He knows how to play being this size. It's just so lazy to go, big quarterback won't get injured, small quarterback will get injured. It's just such a cookie cutter way of looking at things, and it's just not reality. Everyone's body is built different. Some bigger guys are more injury prone than smaller guys just because of the way their body is built, the way their muscles are built. So when you actually look at Bryce's injury history, where he's played his whole life and how he's physically built, you realize, hey, he doesn't seem injury prone at all.